Hello.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and today going to be reviewing Rocky as we start a Rocky review series preparing for Creed 3, which is coming out very soon. Already some first reviews are dropping on Creed 3, so I don't know if I'll be able to finish this review series before it comes out, but if I don't, I'll just review Creed 3 and then we'll move on with the review series where I left off, because there's a lot of movies to get to. Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Rocky Balboa, and of course then Creed 1 and Creed 2. A lot of movies to talk about, so let's get going with the original Rocky that came out in 1976. This was not the first Rocky film I watched. I became a Rocky fan after watching Rocky 4 around the time it came out, 1985, 1986. I was only a kid, but I thought it was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. And eventually I watched Rocky 2. I watched them totally out of order. And at some point I got to Rocky, the original 1976 movie. And not surprisingly, as with every Rocky movie, I absolutely loved this movie. This is, of course, the classic, the original. And I've only liked it more over the years, to the point that I just now feel like this movie is just almost perfect. It's just such an incredible movie. Even in some of the other ones that I used to love a lot more, like Rocky 4, I can find at least some flaws, some things I don't like when I revisit them. This one has only gotten better. I think of all the Rocky films, this is the one that's gotten better and better and better the more I watch it. This, of course, was the film that gave Sylvester Stallone his break. He wrote this movie very quickly, I believe over a course of about 3 days, which just shows the talent that this guy has. Sylvester Stallone is extremely talented as a writer, as a director, as an actor, and he wrote this original script about this boxer named Rocky, and it's just such a beautiful script and a beautiful story, in that you have this guy who has talent, but he's really not going nowhere, and just out of nowhere he gets this opportunity because the champion, Apollo Creed, is in a position where all of the big fighters, the big name guys, they're not interested or not available to fight him. And he decides, you know what, let's pick a local fighter just to have this interesting match right here. So he's going through all these local fighters. He wants to pick someone local, give him the opportunity of a lifetime, and he'll probably mess with him for a couple rounds, get put on a little show, knock him out in the third round. And it's just going to be this really awesome little thing, little event. And, it sounds awesome, right? Except he picks the freaking Italian Stallion. And the scene is just amazing when he comes and he's flipping through the pages. He's this guy, right, Italian Stallion. And I like his manager, no, I don't like you messing with Southpaws. I don't want you to Southpaw nothing, dude. I'll knock him down in 3 rounds. It's going to be nothing, dude. I mean, it doesn't matter, Southpaw or not. This is a freaking local dude. Get out of here. Come on, this ain't going to be a problem. But he sees something in Rocky. Obviously, he thinks he's going to beat him, no problem. But he does see something special in Rocky, in the Italian Stallion. He loves the name, and that's why he picks Rocky. Underneath all this is, of course, the love story with Adrian going on between Rocky and Adrian, trying to get her to come out of her shell because she's so shy, she's so reserved. And it delves, of course, into her personal life with her brother, Paulie, who is just a complete piece of shit in this movie, to be honest. Even though he becomes Rocky's friend, and even though he's a big part of the franchise, he was pretty much an asshole here. But that love story is so beautiful in the way it builds up to the final fight. Yo, Adrian! And then she, runs up, I love you and everything. And that moment is so amazing. And it is really the story. The boxing is kind of background stuff. And he didn't even have to win the fight. And he said he didn't want to. All he wanted to do is go the distance. He went the distance with the champion. 15 rounds, I believe it was. And he goes the distance with Apollo Creed. And at the end, Apollo Creed even wins the fight. He gets the decision. You barely notice it. It's in the background because Rocky, him going the distance and finishing off his career and proving what he can do. And now Adrian finally completely coming out of her shell and proclaiming her love for him and everything. And the way it ends is just an amazing story. So well told. And I love boxing, by the way. I haven't mentioned that. I'm a huge boxing fan. I even boxed for a while myself. I had 3 matches. Undefeated, although one of them was a disqualification. So I won in weird ways, but I decided to retire to my 3rd match, which I went the distance. Speaking of going the distance, I went the distance with this guy, just punished him. I got the decision. This was obviously very local, very, not like I'm getting paid, not like I was a pro, but I got the decision, but it was so tiring and it's so painful. And I was like, I just don't really enjoy this. I like the sport. I love the sport watching, but actually competing was not my thing. Now, playing baseball, I love playing baseball, but I realized competing and boxing was not fun. And I just retired after 3 matches, but love the sport. And I really love the Rocky movies. And this original film, it's the only one where you get to see Rocky before his success. He's like a guy breaking legs for the loan sharks or something like that. He's out there looking for guys that owe money, and he's doing what he's got to do. And you see him kind of working out in the gym. You see his relationship with Mickey at the beginning. Mickey knows he's got something. Mickey knows he's got the talent. And he yells at him one time, you got what it takes, but you never really put in the effort, I guess. And when he gets this title shot, Mickey comes back, and it does kind of look from Rocky's point of view at first like, dude, pathetic, like, oh, now you want to manage me. But later he accepts him. He runs outside after Mickey walks away, and you can tell, even though you don't even hear what they're saying, you see them speaking, and you can see, oh, Rocky's telling him, you know what, Mickey, sorry about that, got carried away there. You want to be my manager? Let's do this. And obviously, Mickey wants to do it not only because it's an opportunity to manage a boxer who's about to fight the champion, but also because, again, he sees something in Rocky. He knows Rocky's talent, and he knows he could help him, and he does. And obviously, Burgess Meredith, perfect for the role of Mickey. He just completely killed it. And, of course, Adrian as well. Talia Shire, she is fantastic as Adrian, is very, very shy individual. And you can tell she kind of likes Rocky, but she doesn't really want to show it. She doesn't know what to do. She's not used to any kind of relationships or happiness even. She just has this horrible life where she's living with her brother, who's, again, a complete jerk. And the way that she just slowly comes out of her shell. And of course, Rocky in the apartment, that was always something that I was kind of watching it, even as a kid, even growing up. Every time I've watched that scene, it's like, man, Rocky, dude, he's trying to help her obviously come out of her shell. He's trying to help her by, kind of having her come in the house, even though she doesn't want to. And she feels very uncomfortable and once she's in Rocky's apartment, she feels very uncomfortable, clearly. And he's really trying to help her just get her to get past this shell that she's in and break out of it. But in doing so, obviously, some questionable behavior by not letting her leave when she said she wants to leave. I would not recommend anybody do that. Even if you feel like the girl likes you, you might be wrong. You might be wrong. Maybe she really just wants to leave. So, I would never recommend the method that Rocky used there because it's pretty creepy and actually wrong. But in this particular case, he happened to be right. She did like him a lot, and he did help her come out of her shell and become ultimately very happy. So although I don't agree with his methods, ultimately those methods worked for Adrian because she did like him and she came out of her shell, and it's a really beautiful story. Love the training montage. This is the first one, of course. This is the first montage. Some of the other montages are a little bit, maybe I prefer the music, maybe I prefer them. Even the fight. This fight, it did go quick. Like you saw, I love the fact, one of my favorite moments in the scene is when Rocky knocks him on the ground right off the bat. Like the fight starts, and it's whenever a boxing match starts, you just kind of getting comfortable, getting into it, and just kind of gauging each other. And then Rocky just has this huge uppercut, takes Creed down, and everyone's shocked. And the announcers, they get out of their seat, and everyone's just shocked. And he gets up, but it's just like, dude, whoa, we're in for it here. But then it just kind of jumps round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7. You see the girl with the sign and with the Statue of Liberty. And the fight does kind of move along quickly. But again, the fight is more backdrop here. Some of the fights in the other movies are, in my opinion, a lot more exciting. And the focus is more on the fight. Like in Rocky IV, the full focus is on the fight, dude, with Drago. This one, the focus is, yes, there's a big focus on the fight. Can he go the distance? And that's really the question. But in the backdrop, the true story is the love story between Rocky and Adrian. Very beautifully told. And there's just so much great in this movie. It's never boring for a split second. It's just always engaging. I just absolutely love watching Rocky go from basically a nobody to taking this opportunity. And at first he didn't even want it, which makes sense. You're like, no, You know, you figure you're just going to get your head pounded in, and it's just, but then he decides to take up the opportunity and, of course, goes the distance. And then, the amazing scene at the end where he's calling for Adrian. They're trying to interview him. No, don't be remade. Adrian! And that final moment where they embrace and everything. And I love you, Rocky. Rocky, I love you. He says, I love you. And that's it, man. That's the movie. And just a beautiful movie. I don't really know what to say as far as flaws. This movie, there's a reason it spawned so many sequels to this day with the spinoff with the Creed movies. It's just absolutely unbelievably good movie. Great movie, masterpiece of a movie. Not a surprise. This movie is a masterpiece in my opinion, and it is one of my favorites in the franchise, and it's only gotten better and better and better. If you would have had me rank these when I was 8, at that point there were probably only, I think Rocky 5 hadn't come out. If you'd had me rank these when I was 8, this one might have been at the bottom, but over the years, that's because I was 8. I still liked it. I still loved it. I loved all of them. There's not a Rocky movie I don't love, but this one has moved up and up, and every time I watch it, I like it more. I'm going to say it's a masterpiece, and of course, y'all have seen it. Rocky, it's great. Look forward to my Rocky 2 review. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to try to knock these out quick, and hopefully I get to all of them before Creed 3, but we'll see. It's a tall task, so we'll see. But you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you think of the original Rocky, and we'll talk to you next time.